Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am again sharing some more cards in one video using some Hello Bluebird items. So this first card is with the Merry Mice. All my cards will be with the same stamp set, but I will only be showing a few items that I colored. Doing some Noline coloring, so I'm using the Ink on 3 Noline coloring fade out ink. It's truly an amazing ink, and it's because of this ink that I can do some Noline coloring, so I'm really grateful for the invention of Ink on 3. So I have already colored a few. Those I colored in the coloring challenge, and now I'm doing the other images but with the same colors so that you can see how I color them in. I will list all the colors below so that it's easier for you guys to see which colors I am using if you would be interested to use the same. And I will put on some music and we'll be back after the coloring is done. Now that everything is colored in, I used the matching dies to cut them out, and I took some Neenah to cut out the Winterwoods overlay as well as a panel to put behind it. So now I am going to blend some Tumbled Gloss Distress ink on top of this panel to get that really soft color going on in the background. I tried it out some more because my tumbled glass is a bit dry, so it's really hard to see if there is enough ink on it until you lay some white paper on top of it. So therefore I used the overlay immediately to check whether there was enough blue, and I just added some more. Next up I decided to lay everything down, but then I saw that I needed another snowy hill to put the leather on top of it, and therefore I am taking the snowy sky scene from Hello Bluebird, and I just partially die cut the lower snowy hill from this die, and I'm going to use it for the leather and the mice to stand on. It just needs a bit of the tumbled glass, and then I can assemble everything. I am using some long Fawn glue tube to put everything together, and while I was doing this I decided that I wanted another string of lights because otherwise my card would be very empty. So I'm going to color one more with exactly the same colors as the one that you saw in the beginning. So therefore I took Strathmore Bristol Smooth, my Ink on 3 Fade Out Noline Coloring Detail ink, and my Zigs. And now I can really add everything onto this panel. So I want the mice to hold this string of lights and to give it to each other and help each other decorate the trees. So therefore I first added this string of light onto this little mouse, and it was quite a bit of fiddling, but I'm really happy with the end result. So I'm using some liquid glue for this card, as well as some foam squares, thin foam squares, to adhere everything. I added some final details using the Nuvo crystal drops called Simply White, and then my card is finished. onto my second card, also using the Merry Mice from Hello Bluebird. So for this card I am using the Snowy Sky scene, and I am again trying to make a really light soft card to match with these adorable mice. So I die cut this scene out of Neenah 110, and I'm going to use my cracked pistachio ink to ink up the sky and a bit of the snowy borders. Because everything is ready for this card, I am already adhering everything onto my American card base. Therefore, I'm using again the liquid glue and also a combination of foam strips. This one is with the Big Mama foam strips from Simon Says Stamp. And because I want to have multiple layers, I am using some Scotch foam tape, which is a bit bigger than the thin ones from Simon Says Stamp on the lower snowy hill. Now I can add my mice, checking how I am going to place it, and then I am using a combination of liquid glue and foam squares to adhere them on top of it. In this die, there is also the Let It Snow die cut. I truly like it because it's a wonderful script, and I love it when there is like a background scene and also a word die. So I am die cutting it out of Neenah, and I did it twice to be able to glue them together and have a bit of a race. So therefore using again liquid glue, and then I am adding it and putting something heavy on top of it as an acrylic block. To add it onto the card, I decided to use the negative of the die cut. Unfortunately, something went wrong. I added too much glue. So when I tried to lift up this paper, I pulled a bit of my card apart. But in the end, I decided to not throw it away because I need to learn to roll with punches. So here I pulled it apart and I decided to continue and see what I could make of it. So I added everything, and then there is again the Nuvo drops that will help me later on. So here I wanted to give up because I was really disappointed that I pulled it apart, but in the end it turned out great, and I'm really happy that I continued. So if you have the same thing, it's just like in one of my recent cards that I shared also, sometimes it's better to just continue and see where it goes, and maybe it works out fine. So I continued and I decided to take some Nuvo drops. So I took the Nuvo glitter drops, the Nuvo crystal drops to help me, but first I added some glitter on top of my snowboarders using this Fawn glitter pen, and also onto the word. I hope to distract everyone from my mistakes by adding this, but it wasn't enough. So Nuvo is coming to the rescue. So I started with the Nuvo glitter drops. It's called White Blizzard, and I decided to fill up some of the holes in this background that is recreating the snow, and also add some next to it so that I could hide my mistakes. On to my third card with the final items from the Merry Mice. Therefore, I took the basic rectangles from Mama Elephant to die cut it out of Neenah so that I could have that stitched border around it. And then I took my Sponge Sugar Distress ink and blended it on top of this panel to get a really soft pink glow around the warm wishes that you can see. It's the warm wishes words from Hello Bluebird. And I'm just adding some pink on top of my panel. Next up, I took the warm wishes that I die cut out of Neenah as well, and I tried it out whether the pink was enough. And now I'm taking some scrap piece paper and I'm covering, sort of trying to cover the stitch details. And then I am going to add some glitter on top of this panel. So I'm taking my acrylic block so that I can put my glitter on top of it. So I'm using the Ink Country liquid pixie dust, and I like to add it on top of my acrylic block, add a bit of water and take a paintbrush to splatter it all around. And that will just give that something extra to the card. I am heat setting this because I'm using Neenah, and Neenah is not always that handy when you want to use some liquids on top of it. So just heat setting this panel so that it can dry faster and do less of damage onto my panel. So now I just have to add all my elements, so the warm wishes and my 2 images, and then my card is finished once more. So this was a really quick and easy card. The others were all scenes. I really hope that you like all 3 of the cards. If you have any questions, you can always leave them down below. I am going to respond to them as soon as possible. I really appreciate you all stopping by, and I am hoping that your holiday season is so wonderful. Merry Christmas already, and a Happy New Year. Bye!